Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Vince.
Something's uncanny down here, like an uncanny X-Men.
We've got Chris.
I'm dangerous when aroused.
And I'm Kia. Well, I don't remember either of those quotes from any of the comics that we read today. Hold on. Uncanny? Did they say the word uncanny?
Right before they reveal the first mutant, they go, "There's something uncanny down here."
Oh, and Chris, who was horny in these books?
No one was horny. It was just
Okay.
Namor's friend. As when she's driving we'll get to it. When she's driving the Human Torch, maybe my favorite.
These are some fun comics, by the way. Teaser, spoiler alert.
Okay, so we are reading a bunch of really old Namor comics from when Marvel Comics first appeared. Literally, we are reading Marvel Comics #1. Which is not published by Marvel. It's published by Timely Comics in, was it 1939?
This first one's 1939, yeah.
And then
they're the same as Marvel. It's just Timely is the name of the company.
Exactly. That's what they were called back then. And they're, Marvel Comics #1, which introduced a whole bunch of characters. We'll talk about it soon. And then it immediately changes its name to Marvel Mystery Comics for issue #2. We decided we were going to read issues 7, 8, 9, and a tiny bit of 10 to get the story of Namor versus the Human Torch. It's going to be very exciting. I think these were very fun old comics. We are also finishing up our long read of a bunch of Earth 2 stuff that we've been reading. We've been kind of picking and choosing some good Earth 2 stories, focusing a little bit on the Bat family of Earth 2, and we're reading Brave and the Bold #197, which is Batman reminiscing a little bit about him and how his relationship with Catwoman developed.
Yeah, this is going to be a good episode.
Yeah. For now,
comics are fun, kids.
Comics are fun. Yeah. So Marvel Comics #1. There were 7 stories in this thing. We had
like a 64, 65 pager, and people get anywhere from like 5 to 13 pages.
We had the origin of the Human Torch. We had the Angel, which looks like a Hispanic Superman, but with wings on his chest. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I only know the Angel. Have either of you ever read Cavalier and Clay?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, there's a character. The whole idea they explore like the real the creation of comics, and there's a lot of references to actual comic stuff. But one of the references they make that's very deliberate is one of the artists is just like, "Hey, I just like drawing wings. What if one of the guys had wings?" And they're like, "Yeah, okay." he's still basically like every other masked hero guy, but he has wings.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was a young industry at the time.
We have the Submariner makes his first appearance. We'll get to that one, of course. We have the Masked Raider. It's like a cowboy kind of a book. We have Jungle Terror, which seemed to be more of a one-off. We had a prose story called Burning Rubber, and we had The Adventures of Kazar the Great.
He's around-ish. I've seen him.
I didn't realize how many original ideas were just all in this comic here. Kind of cool. Did y'all read any of the others?
I read the Human Torch one because I know the Human Torch story is gonna cross over with the Submariner Namor story in just a bit. So I figured I'd get the thing. It was basically what I saw in Marvel's.
Yeah, that was the funny part is that issue 1 of Marvel's basically has this story like
issue 0 of Marvel's, right?
Yeah, that's right. The Wizard.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised with how much this issue kept on going, though, with the Human Torch story. I was like, okay, that's it. And then it did go a little bit further than that, where it's like some guy kidnapped. Maybe this was all in Marvel's as well, and I didn't remember it at all. But
no, where some guy was gonna basically, he was like a insurance guy probably some type of mafioso that was like, I'm gonna burn down your building unless you pay me some insurance money. And then like, fuck you, I'm not gonna do that. And then he's like, I just stick my man the Human Torch on you, and the Human Torch's like, oh shit, what did I do?
The Human Torch is like, I don't know, it's a kind of a good one. I like when they're in court afterwards. It's like, listen, man, I didn't mean to do any of this. I'm just an android.
Right. It's not Johnny Storm, the Human Torch.
Oh, that's right.
It's a robot guy who ends up kind of becoming the Vision.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Ends up working for the cops later. We'll get to that.
Which, fun fact, our boy Namor hates cops.
Yeah,
Namor hates cop.
ACAB and Human Torch, apparently the first Human Torch.
I was never the biggest Namor fan or whatever. He's fine. After reading these issues, he might be my favorite superhero.
I remember because I had like the Origins of Marvel, book that I talked about before with like my, which is the first appearance of a lot of heroes. And it was, and I don't know why, as like a 6-year-old, I read like Fantastic Four. I read the Hulk story. I never read the Submariner, probably because I didn't know how to pronounce his name. And two, he was just a guy in his underwear. And I felt like people are going to see me looking at this and I'm going to be judged. And I don't know what the fuck. I was Catholic. It's probably just like a lot of guilt and shame for reading Submariner comics. So I never read this issue. I recognize the pictures, but I do not, I never read it. It was also very wordy for a little 6-year-old.
But I was also just like generally impressed with the art throughout these. They definitely have an old timey look to them, but
they look like they've been recolored. But other than that, they feel like that Batman 1 issue we read a long time ago, where I'm like, what the fuck? 1930s comics were this like vibrant and fun, and like Namor's just a chaotic goblin of energy.
Yeah. Namor rules. Yeah, Bill Everett. He's like so young when he's writing and drawing these. I forget exactly how young. But he's like, I think still a teenager at this point.
Oh,
like
really?
he is like he's in World War II, like whenever that starts. Like that's, I mean, I guess a lot of people were, but he's like a kid. And Namor is kind of his baby. And I guess he has said that like he had a lot of sort of personal demons. He was a heavy alcoholic. He died relatively young. I think he was in his like 50s or 60s whenever I think 50s, whenever he died, with like, I mean, basically a lot of complications from decades of alcoholism. But yeah, he's kind of said that Namor was sort of working out a lot of aggressions.
Yeah, it looks like he was born in 1917, died 73. So at 55 when he passed away. I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, his name sounded so familiar. He created Daredevil also.
What? I guess. Wow. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I remember
that was 30 years later. But
I know. I mean, but that's how like Stan Lee and stuff. Is kind of they're involved like in Captain America, and then they, in Jack Kirby, and then I guess Jack Kirby's Captain America, right? And then 20 years later makes the rest of the stuff. So.
Right, and Lee joins the company like a year and a half from where this issue is. So like he's I think a little younger than Everett. And whenever Marvel stuff starts coming back, he's like, "Hey, do you want to draw Submariner again?" He's like, "Yeah, okay." So he ends up coming back to the book in the 60s, which is pretty cool. It's not really the same as this. This is as Vin said, chaotic.
Let's get to it. Let's get into it. Marvel Comics #1, the Submariner. We start with, we've got some divers that work for like a reclaiming ship kind of company. They're going down to check out this wrecked ship. I guess one of the guys had been down there before, because when they get down, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, this door wasn't open last time I was here."
At the beginning, they mention like, "Hey, somebody stole all the, like, opened the safe and stole a bunch of stuff, but like it seems like it must have just happened." That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. And then they're down there, and then like, "Wait a minute, I think I see a dude." I was like, "What the heck? No way anyone can survive all the pressure down here." Like, these two divers are in full bodysuits with these oxygen tubes heading back up. They're communicating with each other via telephone, and have telephone wires heading up as well.
He thinks they're robots.
He thinks they're robots, which is cool. He's like, "I've never seen anyone that looks like these. These must be their like control wires." All
cool.
Right, he like gets away from them.
He's like, "No, I'm just gonna break these control wires. I'll just cut their cord. I'm just gonna cut their cord. Then they'll die. Then they'll break down. It'll be amazing." Like he's cutting Christmas cords, but it's their air tubes.
And they have no way to communicate with anyone. And Namor. Violent. He knifes one of them and he crushes the other one's head like completely. And he's like, "All right, I guess I've decommissioned these robots."
Robots defeated.
It literally says, "Stabbing one violently, he drops his knife and seizes the other's helmet, crushing it between his powerful hands." Hell yeah,
this guy.
So that's the murder count is at 2 for Namor.
Yeah. The divers, like the leader, the ships up there, are like, "Uh-oh." They see the little oxygen bubbles come up, and they're like, "Let's send a third person down there, but like, take a weapon, be careful." And he sees Namor down there. He instantly yanks signals to be yanked up. Namor follows the guy up to the ship. He grabs the ship's propeller so that it can't like move correctly. The ship gets all screwed up and hits a rock. and it gets torn in two, and Namor is happy with himself.
So murder count at least 5 or 6 now.
Yeah. Namor heads back down to the king. Did they ever actually say this is Atlantis? They're like
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
I think it gets established later, but it's not in the first issue.
Yeah, so he heads back down, talks to the king.
He's like a fish man.
Yeah, no one else down there is like a fish man. Like they have blue skin and maybe some weird eyes, but nobody else is a fish man.
Well, that's because I mean we'll learn in just a second. His mom infiltrated because she passed most for a human.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. So he goes back to the king, and he's got the gift of these 2 dead robot bodies, and he's like, "Here you go, king. Do whatever you want with them." And the king's like, "Well, hold on, take their helmets off." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Oh, geez, they're Earthlings. Oh my god. And then his mom shows up and says, "Good job, son. Earthlings are terrible." And Namor's a little confused. He's like, "Wait a minute. Wasn't my father an Earthman?" And so here we get a little bit of that history. How the humans were attacking the Atlanteans, and then Mom was captured, but she fell in love with the commander. And
they weren't even really attacking the Atlanteans. They were just having a naval battle, like, overhead.
Yeah.
Is that what
big misunderstanding, but because of all like the bombs, torpedoes, whatever they had in like World War I era, it was causing a bunch of like destruction of their homeland because it was all the bombs, and so other like buildings were collapsed. Thousands of as yet unnamed Atlanteans passed away, and the Atlanteans like, fuck this, let's murder all these Earthlings. They're clearly fighting us.
Yep.
A big misunderstanding.
And of course, Namor's mom was secretly a spy, giving information back to the Atlanteans about everything that's going on.
How was that happening? It had that text, and I was like, "But how?" Like,
Yeah, it just looked like
the
she
humans.
I guess they trusted her enough to let her have some alone time.
It's like Little Mermaid rules, like Scuttle the seagull is like flying up to her, and she's like relaying it, like, "Oh yeah, the humans are doing this."
Something like that.
She's a really good spy. I wouldn't question this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this book has no time to explain how this could have happened.
And she had a kid with them, of course. And this kid, Namor, has all the strengths of both races. He can swim, and he can walk on land, and he can fly for some reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's like Superman for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know which race has these powers.
He's like the Blade of the undersea world.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
I guess maybe because he's like survives under all this pressure. That's why he's super strong. Maybe that's where they're going.
Sense. Sure. So then Namor and his cousin Dorma, he's talking to his cousin like, "Hey, I'm gonna go attack some humans." She's like, "Ooh, I want to come." And they go attack a lighthouse, and they like knock on the door, and some guy's like, "Who is it? Hey, what's going on?" He opens the door and instantly get punched. And they're just attacking everyone along the way, throwing them out of the building. They're messing with the lights. I don't know what their plan was. Was it just to mess with the lights in this lighthouse?
Yeah, shut down the lighthouse, make ships crash.
Yeah, and
it's
like,
chaos.
all right, let's get out of here. And
he's pure chaos.
They jump to a plane.
Yeah, he immediately gets like 3 stars in GTA. Like suddenly, like the whole Navy is after him.
It is a GTA game where he's just causing chaos and cops come after him every issue.
Let's put this on the video game list. This is a good one.
Yeah.
The Namor GTA simulator.
I guess it's more like it's more like Saints Row or Infamous or one of those games where you have superpowers. But still, it is that type of just open world smash everything game where Namor is just like, I'm here to cause chaos. I hate the human world. Although he specifically calls out the white men.
That's his final panel of the first issue. And so Namor dives into the ocean again on his way to further adventures in his crusade against white men.
Wow. Okay.
It's like he doesn't know about all the other races, but he's like, the only people I've met so far are white, and I don't like them.
That's fair. That's fair. So they from this lighthouse, they need to escape, and there's a plane passing by, and so they jump to it. They crawl up to the cabin and beat up the pilot and punch him into outer space.
Knocks the pilot right out of the plane. Another job for Namor.
And then Namor says, "Okay, Dorma, I need you to just crash to the ship anywhere and then swim home. I'm going to head out. Peace." And he jumps in the water, and this issue is over. That's the end of the issue.
I like that they have to split up. Like, he's like, all right, you crash the plane somewhere. I'm getting out of here right now.
great. It's perfect. Oh man.
I was not ready for this to be the first issue appearance of Namor.
Yeah. Me neither. So then, we didn't read the next few here. We're skipping to Marvel Mystery Comics number 7, so we can get into some meaty stories here where Namor decides he's going to attack New York. It opens with Namor talking to the king, and the king is saying, "Namor, you have been cheated and mistreated by the treacherous humans. What do you intend to do about it?" He says, "Sir, I shall return to New York and destroy the entire continent using the metropolis as my central base." Okay, great. That's all I needed to know.
He's immediately like, "All right, well, you can have my armies," and he's like, "No, thank you."
He like climbs up to, like swims to New York and like climbs up a wall to get somewhere. There's a cop who's watching him. And he's like, "Hey, you get off of that wall!"
He's at the Statue of Liberty.
This is my panel of the week, by the way.
Okay, the cop says, "Hey, you get off of that wall. Where do you think you're going?" And Namor says, "None of your business, stupid." Perfect.
First interaction with a cop, and then he punches the cop in the face.
He punches. All right, and then he goes.
I feel like these comics are a bad influence on children. Maybe that Frederick Wortham guy is right.
I have a question. Is Namor a villain? Or is he supposed to be an aspirational hero in these books?
I think he's sort of like the Hulk. Like he's kind of an anti-hero where it's like sometimes because in the issues we missed, so Betty Dean is like gets involved. She is like, "Namor, there's a war going on. You should help the allies. The Nazis are the real bad guys, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Interesting. Okay." So he at least has some contact with the human world and is like pointed in the right direction. But he also, it just seems like a maniac.
Right. Well, because what I've known from him from one issue and 2 pages of this issue, he hates white men, he hates America, and he hates cops. And like liberal, like super lefty Antifa is like, hell yeah, Namor's our boy. But I'm like, are we giving this message to like, yeah, punch cops in the face? Like, is that a good message or not at this point? Or is he like gonna be put down? Like we're following a villain.
I think he's an anti-hero.
Okay,
we're rooting for him to become a better hero, even though we know he does some villainous things sometimes.
Okay.
I think there's another panel later.
He hates cops. I love it because there's a later scene where Betty Dean's like, "Human Torch is on your case. He's a cop," and he's like, fuck it.
Damn that Human Torch, the damn cop. All right, so he goes to the Statue of Liberty. He tosses everyone out of there, and he's like, "All right, my case now." And then he jumps out. He does that same propeller trick on another boat where he just holds onto it to cause some chaos. He really likes that propeller trick. Then he heads into the city, but there are police squad cars armed with animal nets and tear gas bombs ready for him. But he just beats them up. And the mayor's like, "Okay, listen, we need to like talk to this guy and appeal to him or something." And Namor just like shows up there all of a sudden. Okay.
I love that reveal where he's just like, "Oh yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" Like he just shows up in the window.
and the mayor says, "Get out of here, you crook, you bum!" And
greatest city on earth, the mayor will challenge you to a fight.
We usually hyperbolize words, like like often on this show we'll say like, "And fuck you, Namor." No, like he literally said, "Get out of here, you crook, you bum." Like this is the literal reading of this. Like we're not making these ones up.
That's 100% exactly what he said. Namor is like, all right, Namor's gonna make this guy an offer. He says, "Listen, man, I'm taking over. You can work for me if you want." And the mayor is like, no. How about this instead? Like, I'm gonna call the governor and summon the National Guard. And Namor's like, no, that's not what I wanted. and he leaves. He's so mad he destroys the subway. He just like a piece of the overground railing area. He demolishes it. He then destroys the top of the Empire State Building. Okay, great. He's heading back home.
Zoo?
I think that's the next issue.
Oh, is it next issue?
Yeah.
And he heads back, and he's heading home, and he sees Betty Dean, who works for the cops. Namor is like kind of attracted to her, so they stop and talk. And she says, "Hey, scared for you because the Human Torch is now on our police force." He's like, okay. It's the end of issue 7. Not really a lot actually happened in issue 7. Just a lot of destruction, and it's fine with me.
He took over the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. I mean, it was quick. He walked in and threw some people out. It was good for him. Efficient.
So at this point, I started reading the Human Torch stories.
What was going on in those? Anything important? Anything that really related back?
I think. Well, how did it go? Does Human Torch in this story clean up all of his mess, or is that the next issue?
I think it's the next issue.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Human
where I
Torch
started
isn't
reading. So
even in
issue
this
8, but they changed the order of the stories because usually Human Torch comes first in the book, but Submariner's first for issue 8.
So I just read what happened, what we missed. I'm tempted to go back and read it. Apparently, Namor is considered a hero after the Nazi thing, but then it turns out they put him on trial for one of the many murders he's committed. He's found guilty. They put him in the electric chair, but it gives him a power boost, and then he declares war on humanity again and leaves.
Great, perfect. That's all I want from Namor. All right, so issue 8 here. Oh wait, were you going to say more stuff about Human Torch, Vince?
No, so this is, and previously all the previous issues, Human Torch is always the lead story. In the KZR, it looks like it's the end story, and Submariner's usually in the middle. This time they flipped it now because Submariner's going to be first, and then Human Torch will be later. And I definitely read Human Torch for issue 8 and 9. I don't know if y'all did.
Yeah, I did. And
Okay.
this was really interesting because again, these are different writers and artists working on the Human Torch. And I mean, this is basically the first crossover in Marvel, where it's their guys, their little toys fighting each other for the first time. Where we get to see Bill Everett's version, and then we get to see what's his name, Burgos's version whenever Human Torch shows up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think the Human Torch one we should probably cover after we cover this issue.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, I'm curious to hear about it. But issue number 8 here. Namor is wondering how he can impress the human imbeciles. I think that's how he put it. And he decides he's going to steal a bomb from the Brooklyn Navy Yard. He's going to bury it over the Hudson Tunnel, and he's going to blow up the tunnel and have it flood. And we see all the cars getting all fucked up there.
Chris, I feel like your insight that Namor is basically playing GTA and trying to get up his star count or whatever as fast as possible is a very accurate read.
This issue especially, and he's like, how can I cause more chaos? And this is when he decides to head to the zoo.
Hell yeah.
A police plane spots him, and he rips it up and makes it crash. Great. Then he lets out the lions at the zoo. Then he lets out the elephants, and the elephants are causing a stampede. There's a mom who's rushing to escape. She's got a stroller with her that she's trying to run with, but the stroller falls over as she's running, and the baby falls out of the crib, and the mom just keeps on running.
The mom just takes off.
The mom just keeps running. And Namor sees this, and he can't believe it. He's like, "What? She just left that poor baby to die?" I'm like, "Well, Namor, you're the one who was going to kill that kid, man."
No, he just wanted to he didn't kill all those tourists. He just wanted to just scare them.
Yeah,
and maybe a lion might eat a couple of them.
So
but not the children.
There's a lot of panel of the weeks throughout all this. This might be my favorite, where he lifts the first elephant in the stampede and throws it at the other elephants. I
like right before that when he breaks the elephant out by pulling the bars and he goes, "Shut up, you're getting out."
It's good.
I like it. How does he know what an elephant is? He's like, a man killer. I'm like, what? How do you know what the hell this is?
I don't know. Good question.
I don't know. Does he think it's a killer whale of the surface world?
They've got.
It does have sharp. Yeah.
These are they're like the narwhals, but 2 spikes.
So Namor takes this baby. He flies to the roof of the local medical center where 3 people are just hanging out, including an old lady just lounging on a rattan. And he says, "Hey, I meant no harm. Here's this baby." And they're like, as he's flying away, somebody on the roof says, "He couldn't be as bad as they say." And Namor says, "Bah, stupid idiots. You'll see." He really wants to be evil.
He's like, "No, I am a bad guy."
And then Human Torch shows up and meets Namor on a bridge. He has a steel beam in his hands, and he's of course on fire, and it's melting in his hands. And Namor's like, "Your weapon's melting on you, bro." And Human Torch just throws it at Namor, Namor gets all burned and he has to retreat to the ocean, and it's the end of that issue there. Boy, real good stuff. Real chaotic. Love it.
It is really funny. Like when I was first reading this, I was like, oh, I wonder if like Burgos, if they're being protective this early, because Human Torch has like one line and doesn't really do anything. So I was like, I wonder if like he didn't want, Ever to write too much or like what. But then you read the next story and you're like, no, actually they clearly work together.
Yeah, Namor, Human Torch does a ton in this next issue. I have so many more notes in this next one. It's a lot more of a substantial issue here.
Well,
Namor.
Did you read the Human Torch part?
Oh no, sorry. Did we want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should mention it. We don't have to
me.
go into it in too much detail, but Vince and I both read it. Did you read that part, Kia?
I didn't. Sorry, but tell me.
It's cool. I mean, it's like it's Human Torch like base level stuff. Like, oh hey, Namor's causing some shit. You want to do this stuff? But then it does a really really cool thing that I like in other narratives, where it then shows Human Torch cleaning up after Namor's messes that we just saw. Like he puts the elevated train back together. Like he remelts it and like resolders it back together and welds it. And I'm like, that's cool. This is, like it's I mean, one, it like puts all the toys back in the box. But it's fun to see like some chaotic thing that you've just read from a completely different angle. And it's fun. I like it. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
he saves a bunch of, he welds the bars back onto the zoo animals after hurting them with fire back over. And then he's in a car, and this is where my quote came from. He's in a car with Betty Dean, and Betty Dean's like, Namor's okay. Like, you just have to give him a chance. And he's like, I don't know. I mean, he seems bad to me. And then on the radio, they're like, Submariner is like on the George Washington Bridge. And he's like, I gotta go. And like immediately turns into fire and sets Betty's car on fire. He then puts it out, but I'm like, dude, what
What a jerk. I gotta find this thing.
You gotta calm down. And he keeps flying like the police commissioner is constantly like, hey, what are you doing? And he's just like burning through the wall.
Wow.
It's amazing. He's a loose cannon cop because he has fire powers that he seems to barely be in control of.
Yeah, there's an escaped monkey I see trying to bash a guard's head onto the pavement. He's holding it upside down, so Human Torch throws fire at it.
Yep.
Right?
It's great. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, because it's all him like heroically trying to undo all the stuff we just saw Namor do.
Wow.
And it ends it with the exact same way, but from Torch's point of view, where he sees Namor jump off the bridge and swim away.
Whoa. Okay, this is pretty good. And then next issue, Fire versus Water, a fight to the finish. Okay, very nice. Marvel Mystery Comics number 9. Now we've got Namor. He's trying to figure out, all right, how is he going to beat the Torch? He goes to they call it in the caption, his aerial sub. Looks like it's underwater to me. Why do they call it an aerial sub?
I don't know.
He grabs a high pressure air tank. And he's like, all right, I'm going to use this thing. He goes back to the Statue of Liberty, guessing the Torch is going to be there looking for him, and Torch does immediately show up. He blows out the flame with his air tank, and then he knocks him off the statue and sends him into the water, where Namor follows him down. He's very easily able to beat him up underwater because Namor's just a lot stronger down there. He's like, all right, I'm going to take him back home, so I'm going to find out what makes him work and try to control his fire ability, which, bad idea. And he's trying to mess with his air tank, and it accidentally wakes up the Torch. And Torch is like, all right, I'm going to make a bubble around. How does this happen? The Torch makes a bubble about himself.
There's plenty of weird comic science, but this part I was like, what?
It was a little much. And it forms a protective bubble around the Human Torch, and it starts rising. It exits this aerial sub and floats up to the top of the water. Oh, Namor does catch up to it and tries to punch the bubble, but it just bumps it all the way out of the water and into the sky. Okay, great.
And Namor's like, man, I had him and I blew it.
Yeah. So Human Torch heads back to the police. He says, all right, we've got to destroy Namor. Betty's like, well, listen, he's better than everybody thinks. Then they get a video message from Namor saying, leave me alone. and so the Human Torch is like, all right, I'm going after this guy. He flies to the TV studio because Namor has, I guess, like held them hostage there and forced them to make this video.
I do appreciate, because I was about to make a joke, like, how did he get on camera for this? And like they've at least thought through some of these things.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it's more clever and more like thinking about things. Like as Chris the aforementioned, like no, he burns down people's walls and like the roofs of their car, and people are like, that's fucked up, man. So like I appreciate the thought and concern given into this in 1939, 1940.
Yeah.
So Namor heads to a nearby reservoir, and Torch is like, okay, and he just like kind of covers the surface of the water with flames, so Namor is stuck under there, and then and Torch like is like, hey, y'all got a phone? I'm gonna call the police. And Namor starts choking because the water contains chlorine, and he passes out. And then 2 police planes show up and they bomb the reservoir.
Does the NYPD have planes?
I don't know. And I definitely don't think they have planes with bombs in them.
I don't know. I don't think they should if they do.
I mean, the militarization of American police has gotten out of hand.
Yeah. Well, I'm very confused as to what what kind of bombs these were, because they don't appear to actually destroy anything. All they did was like shoot Namor out of the water. No other damage whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they like healed him as well. He seems better.
Yeah, it's just like that electric chair. It just woke him up.
Yeah. And Human Torch later is like, all right, so the bombs were a bad idea. That's my bad. We're still gonna fight. Torch puts like a ring of fire around Namor. Namor tries to get out of it, but as he's going out, he burns the wings on his ankle. We haven't actually mentioned that he has wings on his ankles. And he can't fly anymore. He's like, oh, geez. So he like jumps up to grab a plane as it's passing overhead. And again, he knocks out the pilot and takes over the plane.
But now he's like triggering the parachute for the pilot. So we've downgraded. He's not actively murdering people as much.
He's like, all right, they're gonna be okay. They're gonna be fine. Torch is throwing fire at this plane to destroy it. He cuts it right in half, but it's over the ocean. Namor jumps out, and he's free again. Dame Namor, too slippery. Then the Torch, I like this line too. Torch goes back to the cops. He's like, man, I don't know what to do. And the police chief is like, have you tried chemicals? Which is a very, like, just a generic, I don't know, try some chemicals.
This guy would definitely participate in World War I chemical warfare.
Yeah, right.
So,
immediately they're ready to discard, the Hague Convention to fight Namor. They're like,
mustard gas. That sounds good, right?
Let's commit some atrocities. He's not even human.
So Torch is like, oh shit, I gotta go. And he goes to the chemical lab of the police, and the head scientist or whatever there is like, how about some sulfuric acid? And he's like, hey, great. So Torch goes to a chemical factory. I feel like the Human Torch should not be the one to gather these materials.
No,
that's what you have other cops.
Send
for.
literally anyone else except the guy who burns everything down.
So Torch goes to this factory. He tells the guard, I need sulfuric acid. Police business. And this watchman's like, okay, I'm sure it'll be fine. Lets him in. But Namor has also shown up because he's got his own plan at the chemical lab there. Torch, it's like, those like big jugs of water, like the 5-gallon jugs.
Yeah.
It's like those, but filled with sulfuric acid. And Torch is just like throwing them around, swinging them like baseball bats, trying to get Namor with them. There is okay. So in this chemical plant, there is a painter's rig happening. Like the classic kind of painter's rig outside, like a cleaning window kind of deal outside. Like
scaffolding and whatever. Yeah,
scaffolding. Yeah, it's hanging over a dangerous vat of nitroglycerin with the big old warning on it, and they throw the sulfuric acid. And it causes this thing to fall into that vat, and it causes a little explosion there. I don't know. Namor dives into another reservoir that's in the middle of this room. This one room. They keep all their chemicals in one room, which seems like a bad
with open lids.
Open lids.
Yeah, this is how you get jokers.
I'm not gonna get jokers this way. You're not gonna get jokers.
So Torch, Namor then gets away. like in all the chaos and stuff, he's kind of hidden under the water for a little bit. He finds a big glass tube, which is what he was looking for, and he traps the torch under it. And it was like, okay, well, now I've got you. Now I'm going to get you out of here and beat you up. And he lifts up the lid a little bit. It's like, oh, he catches on fire. I forgot. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm like, come on, man. You literally just captured him.
It's been like 2.5 issues. You don't remember his powers?
So he's got the torch trapped under there. He quickly shuts the lid again. He's like, all right, torch is trapped. Now what am I gonna do with him? And then the captions are like, what is he gonna do with him? How's this gonna end? Find out next time.
It's got a hey kids even. Hey kids.
Yeah. What do you think's gonna happen?
We could use your ideas.
So issue 10 gives us the ending of the story. It is literally 1 page. Oh, was there any other torch stuff that we want to talk about from issue 9 there?
No, it looks like they double issued it. It was like 20-something pages.
Okay.
Yeah, this was combined, yeah.
Oh, you're right. So then the story in issue 10, Betty shows up and says, Namor, you got a reason. We gotta like start reasoning with you. Like, you gotta be rational. The cops are there. And listen, if you release Torch, then we'll leave you alone. And Namor was like, you promise? And they're like, yeah, we promise.
So
okay. So this way he releases Torch, and they all have a little bit of like hey man, you're a tough opponent. Yeah. And they give each other their word, and then Namor just leaves, and that's the end of the story.
I love it's all 1 page, and it literally says, "Well, kids, that's the way it ended."
Yeah. It could have happened any other way, but this is the way it happened.
Fucking great. But I have like so many logistical questions. Like, what if Namor chooses to ruin New York again? Is Human Torch, I gave him my word. I won't participate in this. Like, what's gonna happen?
This is like pro wrestling. This is like when Cody said he would never challenge for the championship. He's like, look, I gave my word. I can't.
It goes both ways. I think that's all it is. If one person takes back on their word, then both people can. That's how it is.
What a way to get me to buy next issue and then fucking rip me off.
Yeah, you're out a whole dime now or whatever it is. Not even, I don't think.
I mean, there were other stories in there, but still.
You could see what the Angel's up to. I think he's fighting bootleggers or something. Who cares?
Yeah, what else was even in this? I guess we did have a Human Torch solo story after this, which seems to be like its own. Not related to the Namor story at all. Yeah. No. Oh wait, there's a separate Submariner story in this too.
Yeah, it does continue, but not from the story we've been reading. That's why we didn't read it.
Right. Then the Angel's fighting aliens or something.
Yeah, he fought a vampire in issue 9 apparently. They really lost the plot of the Angel. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, this is, you know what? I would not be disappointed with this issue. You still get a lot of content for your money here.
I also saw Electro the robot, who I remember being in the 12, if you remember that story.
Oh yeah. Wow. That was like
12.
I read it. I don't know what the point of it was though, but yeah.
Yeah, it's they like find a bunch of Golden Age people, and there's a big like mystery where it's like one of them is bad or something. I forget. I don't even remember if all the issues. I think they eventually did.
Agents of Atlas was like the 50s, right? Not this era.
Yes.
Okay.
Which had Namora, right? Was in Agents of Atlas.
Namora or Namorita or something like that.
No. Namorita is his nephew or niece. She's the one that shows up in the 70s.
Okay.
And I guess from the 40s and 50s.
Got it. Cool.
Okay. Well, hey, like I said, Namor is my new favorite superhero.
It's fucking great. Like,
takes no nonsense.
There's something delightful about comics that don't make sense, that just gleefully just move on. Like you know how like we got like in that point like, well, this doesn't make any sense and this is kind of a stupid comic. I'm like, this is I don't know if it was intended, but it was definitely like, this is a comic written for children that is fun as fuck. I was delighted. I was giggling. It was, I guess, kind of an ironic read, I guess. But man, it was fun. Namor is just like very consistent. I called him a chaotic goblin, but that's what he is. He's just like, and like Chris, your GTA comparison, like, yeah, this is exactly how I would do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love all the like catchphrases. He's constantly calling people fools or saying "bah." Like he is so out of control. I love it. He's even more than Dracula, because I liked Dracula in a recent episode, how much he talks about human fools and such. But Namor even more. And then when that person at the hospital, when he saves that baby, they're like, "Oh, he's not so bad." He's like, "Pah, I'll show you."
So good.
He's got
so
his rep
good.
to protect. It's so good. But then like as a Marvel crossover, it's a really good crossover of two characters. Like it's I mean, it doesn't know how to end. It's just like, I guess he's doing good then. Human Torch is doing good now, and then Namor's doing good. So everybody looks like they went out, and then it's obviously like an ending they couldn't write, which we'll get to with the Brave and the Bold, where they also didn't write an ending. But I had a fun time with this. Like I'm surprised every single 1930s comic and 40s comic we've read for this show has been delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should read more from Sarah.
It reminds me, I think Alan Moore was actually talking about this recently, but I was reading something else that said the thing that, because I love bad movies, obviously, I have a whole other podcast about it, but the thing that a bad movie has in common with like a great, like transcendent movie is that you have literally no idea what's going to happen next from like moment to moment. It's not predictable. It's not just following a structure. I mean, and these books are that way where you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
That's such a good point. That's amazing.
Anything else to say about Namor? I wish his Silver Age and more modern stuff was as good as this, but at least we have this.
Did we say why we're covering Namor?
No, we didn't. He's going to be in the movies.
He's the villain I guess, probably, of the new Black Panther movie coming out like next week. And with
next week?
Yeah, like November 11th or something. I don't know.
Soon. I hope he's just like this. I hope he's constantly saying "bah" and throwing planes at people and elephants at other elephants.
Yeah.
November 11th. No, it's like 2 days after this episode comes out. Wow.
Yeah, same.
It's
week.
coming up quick.
Why not put an elephant on an elephant? Okay.
Are there elephants in Wakanda? Probably not.
Not after Namor's done with them.
Oh shit. All right, so let's move on to the Brave and the Bold here. Number 197. I think the other issues of Brave and the Bold and some of the other like anthology kind of books, they've been like anthology types of stories. This is not this one. It is a full-size issue that is just this one Batman story.
I was scrolling on DC Infinite to get to this issue, and I'm like, Batman, because it's always Batman teaming up with somebody. It's like Batman teaming up with Swamp Thing was like a few issues before this, which I guess Swamp Thing wasn't published. It's because it's pre-Alan Moore. I don't think Swamp Thing had his own book at this time. Batman meets I, Dracula. There's it looked like Batman and books that had been canceled before this, and it looked fun. And we've done like a really weird little, I don't know, Chris, if you planned this, it all seems like it's Batman of Earth 2 and Catwoman's relationship. But it's been a fun run. So I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to do this as sort of a prelude to Crisis on Infinite Earths, because this is what the early 80s that this issue comes out, and Crisis is a couple years later. Because this is, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're reading Brave and the Bold, it's like a secondary Batman title. But it's like you pick up this issue and it's like, oh, Batman and Catwoman teaming up. And then immediately you're like, wait, what? Because it's Earth 2 Batman and Earth 2 Catwoman, who, if you're a regular DC Comics reader, are both dead.
Right. That is weird. That is, yeah. But as Chris, I'm like, Chris just served me up all the history of Batman of Earth 2. I'm like, I know exactly what's about going on. And it's been a good reread of all these things. So let's go.
Yeah, you're right though. I didn't even think about that. Earth 2 Batman did die, and
he's been dead for a couple years because this is like what, 82 or something.
Yeah. So this is written from this Earth 2 Batman's point of view, but from like the end of his life. It's the autobiography of Bruce Wayne is the title of this story. It's by Alan Brennert, art by Joe Staton and George Freeman. It's 1955, and he's remembering. Oh, so okay. So he's remembering in like the 70s or whatever, and he's going back to 1955. James Gordon waiting on the roof of, with the bat signal and everything with another cop. He's got this box that's arrived from the Scarecrow, and it's like releasing this hallucinogenic gas. And so Batman's like, all right, let me take it to the Batcave.
Well, first Gordon sees Batman like swing over to the signal and just gets murdered by like 1,000 bullets.
Because we're to believe that that's Gordon's biggest fear.
I guess, yeah.
I
See
guess
Batman just shot right in front of him.
Yeah. So Batman takes it to the Batcave, and he's thinking about how all these villains keep coming back, but the Justice Society is disbanded, and him and Robin and Superman and Wonder Woman are like trying to keep things all together. The next day, he's got to attend Linda's wedding. Linda who? Which Linda? Who is this? Do we know?
I don't know, but he's very inappropriate with this bride.
It's very inappropriate. He goes to see her before the wedding because they dated like 10 years ago, and they're getting way too close. I'm like, geez, are you sure? All right.
Hey, he's smoking a pipe. That makes it appropriate.
Yeah.
She is way in his face on that first panel. Like, she's ready to smooch him.
And then at the wedding, Scarecrow unleashes chaos. I thought everyone started seeing spiders and snakes because that was like him making them using some gas to make them all think they're seeing spiders and snakes. No, he's literally standing up there dumping bags of spiders and snakes.
Another panel of the week.
I do love though before we get to that this scene where Bruce Wayne is just thinking after he like met with this bride, and he's like, I hate being Bruce Wayne. Like, I did this like more or less as a lark and to like get information. But now, and like this reminds me so much of Dark Knight Rises, where like Christian Bale clearly seemed to hate playing Bruce Wayne. Where he's just like, I don't like this act anymore. It's not fun, and now I have to act like these idiots when my real friends are all like crime fighters or Commissioner Gordon or people like that.
Yeah.
It's just like surprising to see Batman have like any moment of reflection or growth.
It's pretty good. I liked it a lot. And so Batman and Robin is there as well. Batwoman is there too, but I guess this is a different Batwoman.
This is Kathy Kane.
Yeah, this is Kathy Kane, who we saw just recently she showed up in the Earth 2 whenever Batman showed up there, and
we just
I
last
hope
issue.
I don't fall in love with you.
It was just last issue, because that was like modern day Batman ended up in Earth 2 or something, right?
Right.
Right.
Which I like the subtle change in drawing style. He looks like Batman Brave and Bold animation. Like his jawline is like slightly like rounded. Mm-hmm. That you can tell this is like 50s Batman.
Yeah, I like it. Looks good. So they all jump into action. And Scarecrow is like using a gas on Batman to make him see his greatest fears, which is that everyone he cares about is disappearing. And so he sees Robin and Batwoman all disappear. He has no friends to turn to because he goes to the Batcave, and Alfred isn't there. He tries to call Metropolis, but nobody answers the phone. They do answer the phone. He just can't hear them, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I love it. Cuts to Lois because he also mentions like Lois and Clark finally got married. And then he calls Superman, and Lois picks up and is like, hello? And he like throws the phone in disgust. No one answers.
So he's like, who can I turn to? He goes to Catwoman for help. And she, I guess, has recently had amnesia or something. But he's talking to her. He's like, yeah, I need you to help me. I need you to try and be good and that kind of stuff. So she helps Batman go on this mission, I guess, to find Scarecrow. First, she helps him tranquilize his giant white lion that looks pretty cool. I don't know where this lion came from. It doesn't seem like a Scarecrow kind of thing, but it seems cool.
It's not super clear in the staging, but it's like it's supposed to be like a university statue, and then it comes to life, and then Catwoman is like so offended. They're like, he must have tranquilized this animal and had it so it woke up whenever Batman got close or whatever. And she's like, well, you care about animals, huh? I like this flirting that they're having.
It's good flirting. So then they enter this building where Scarecrow's hiding out. Is it like a planetarium? What is this place? Like a museum of some sort? And they split up. Batman's going to enter from the front. Catwoman's going to enter from the back. Really,
a
it's
logical
just that
reason for them to split up. Like no other things. Like let's split up. Like they at least say like we're splitting up to flank
Yeah.
from different angles. Like I appreciate that they at least said that.
They did say that. Really, it's just an excuse for them to each get a line where they think about each other, and then they're instantly in the same room again. After that, Batman is like, can I trust her? She seems to really easily remember being Catwoman. And Catwoman's like, he's acting so strange, but I do really like this guy. Or something.
Yeah, so she's, I guess, said that she has amnesia from her criminal career. She's reformed, but it turns out, as we see, that part is a lie. The amnesia part was a lie.
Yep. So they get in. You immediately see them both run into the same room, just from opposite doors. So they're right back in this place. Scarecrow was talking about all different kinds of fear. He's sending. He's saying, like, this is the fear of lightning. This is the fear of this. This is the fear of that. And he's, like, sending stuff at them. Catwoman has a pretty good line. She's like, am I the only villain that doesn't just give incredibly long monologues? Probably.
It's great because it also, I always wondered as, like, a kid. I used to watch Batman 66. I was like, how come Catwoman just gets sent to jail and not Arkham like everybody else? And then my dad was like, well, she's not crazy, son. I was like, oh, I guess that checks out.
Good job, Chris's dad. Great insight. I'd never thought of it that way.
That's, I guess, why Penguin and Catwoman in the 60s live action cartoon would always be sent to the prison, and then all of the other villains would be sent to the insane asylum.
Makes sense when you think about it. So Scarecrow is now. Oh wait, hold on. I missed. Batman gets like a scar on his back, like a cut or something.
No, it's like that thing. Like, oh my gosh, you have a lot of scars on your back.
He gets shot in the back with a burning arrow, and then takes his I don't know. I guess he's doing the whole Ra's al Ghul thing where he just has the cowl on but a shirt off.
Yeah, how does that even work?
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, your back is so scarred up and sexy."
Mm-hmm.
And she asks him, "Why do you do this?" And the captions are like, "I don't know why I answered, but I did." And he like gives her the origin story and all that. So they're getting closer. Scarecrow is now using this new whatever that lets him control any kind of fear that he wants in people. And so he's going to be like making Batman and Catwoman afraid of things. I don't know how that works. Selina can definitely tell, though, just in general, that Batman is under some sort of a spell. She keeps on being like, hey, if your friends have disappeared, then why isn't there anything about it in the papers? And he's like, no, this isn't a spell. This is real life.
She's really trying to, like, deconstruct his, like non-reality, like, in a very nice, like, positive way. Like, let's just walk through the logic of this.
Yeah, he's not willing to even
like,
try.
Jim Gordon had the same reaction. Do you recall that? Yeah, but this was different.
Yeah. I know this is real.
Yeah. Yep. So all of a sudden they're like they're like swinging around, getting down to the floor, and all of a sudden Selina is scared of heights, and then Batman is scared of darkness, and then they're both scared that they're out in the open. They're like, all right, we gotta get to safety. And they go to the university library. Catwoman tells Batman her origin story here, how she used to be married and her husband was really wealthy, but also very cruel and would beat her. She became Catwoman so that she could steal her own jewels back from him. They were like presents that he bought and then just like kept in a safe. Wow. And it felt good to become a thief and like get her stuff back. She had also lied to Batman about her recent amnesia, of course, because she remembered all this. And Batman realizes she did it out of anger, just like he did, and they're both kind of trapped in this life. And they embrace and they kiss. Oh, so sweet. And then Batman's like, wait a minute, not now. We got to go after Scarecrow. And Scarecrow gives him a fear of cats. And then Scarecrow gives Catwoman a fear of bats. Oh, no. And they're scared of each other. And they're trying to push and fight through this fear. And they each take their cowls off and they can see each other for themselves. And Bruce has a lot of, that's the night that I found Bruce Wayne again. And they kiss and they're in love, and I think the captions are like, and of course I got the Scarecrow. He's fine.
Later I pick up the Scarecrow.
But what's really more important is this whole me and Catwoman thing. Okay. And that's it. The end.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I like it. Also, though, who is this for? Like, has
don't
Bruce
know.
thought about who this book, if he were to publish it, like everyone would know every superhero secret identity.
Oh,
Even-
that. I thought you were just asking
even
like
super- Yeah, Batman, when he's fighting the Scarecrow, he's like, where's Dick? Where's Kathy? I'm like, dude, calm down. You don't got to be asking him that. Just use their names.
I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't say their full names and driver's licenses, but yeah,
Still.
it's just like, dude.
who's named Dick and Kathy that Bruce Wayne would know? Huh?
Yeah,
Mm.
a lot of I mean, fortunately, pretty common names, but yeah, it's and there wasn't like Kia, and then they'd be like, which did you
God.
mean Kia Optima or
I did observe though. I didn't make the comment. There's a lot of Bettys in the Marvel universe. A lot of Bettys.
a lot of
Bettys and
Elizabeth, a very
Lizzes.
popular name
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah, Betty's and Liz's, which is weird because they're short for the same name.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyways, that was the Brave and the Bold. That's also our time with Earth 2 and the specifically the Batman and Catwoman of Earth 2. We've really had a good time kind of reading all these little weird adventures of theirs and the team ups with Earth 1 and all that.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
never
good
heard
stuff.
of Earth 2 until I guess we talked about it with Crisis. But I remember reading about it with like Infinite Crisis and I'm like, and like the Earth 2 Superman they cut to and I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like I remember reading it like in 0506. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And now I feel like I do. Like I probably should like go back and look at those comics
Yeah.
like, with new context.
I like
I don't know if you have to.
yeah, probably not. But I do like this. This is a really interesting Batman story because I like Batman comics. We'll talk about Batman more later, but this is really cool. That like this is the sort of stuff you don't get in a lot of Batman stories, which is like actually lets Batman the character grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like every Batman story is basically the same as far as like character development, and so this is again like this is kind of what like I don't know if somebody like handed Christopher Nolan this issue, but like it is kind of similar to how Batman ends with the Nolan trilogy, where it's just like he and Catwoman are just like, let's just get out of this. This sucks.
Yeah.
It's very good. It was a very pleasant story. I did like also I was like, fuck it, we're not gonna tell you how the story the Scarecrow thing
Yeah,
because it doesn't matter.
Both of our stories really did have very non-endings, but you know what? They were still enjoyable. Two of the best books we've read in a while, I think. But yeah, that's it for that long read. What's our next long read gonna be? Hey, some more Batman. Why not? We're doing the Death of Batman for our not long read. We've been wanting to read some Nightfall for a little while.
Not death, just
All right.
Just the back breaking.
Sure. But it feels like the Death of Batman. We're doing the night. We're not doing the entire Nightfall thing because that would just go on forever. We are doing Nightfall: The Broken Bat, which I guess is pretty much from Bane showing up through him breaking Batman's back. So first, we're going to read a one-shot called Batman: Vengeance of Bane. It's from 1992. And then we're going to read the full Broken Bat saga, which is 11 chapters. It starts in Batman 492, then goes to Detective Comics 659, and then it goes back and forth for 11 issues.
Mm-hmm.
So just Batman and Detective Comics back and forth there. But yeah, next time just Batman Vengeance of the Bat for the long read. And then our short read, our regular read next time is going to be Age of Apocalypse. We haven't been back there in a while. We're going to read another one of the mini-series. We are going to read X-Calibre. There's, all of the Age of Apocalypse series have alternate versions of the regular books. So what is it? The Amazing X-Men instead of Uncanny X-Men. Instead of the regular Excalibur, the British team, it's X-Caliber is this version. So we're going to do that in 4 issues.
And it's
I don't know
Storm and
anything about it.
Nightcrawler, Chris said?
Mystique and
Mystique.
Nightcrawler.
Mystique and Nightcrawler. Oh, they're related. Is that where we're going to find that out?
No, we already know
I
that.
think we
Oh.
already do that, but we're going to see how they live in this Age of Apocalypse universe. It's been when is the last time we did Age of Apocalypse? It's been a
In
long
the
time.
summer, I want to say like June-ish. It's been a
Really?
minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going to
Yeah.
do them like every
Yeah.
2 or 3 months, and then we got distracted by other comics. So
Well, there's a lot of comics out there.
So just get excited. You want to read something else. But yeah,
Yeah,
we're making our way the only way we know how.
The only way we know.
And that's a little bit more than the law will allow. But is that Dukes of Hazzard? I know it's Waylon Jennings. Yeah, I think that's Dukes of Hazzard. Okay, whatever.
And I think that's is that everything we got to announce for next time? Yeah, Knightfall and X-Calibre. Cool.
Nice.
What else is going on to talk about? Chris, you mentioned your other podcast, Bad Movies. What's going on with your Stupid Minds?
We just had our 200th episode. We covered Chopping Mall by Jim Wynorski with Barbara Crampton, Scream Queen legend, and some other people too. But I think it's our fourth Jim Wynorski movie. He, of course, has directed hundreds of movies, very few of which you've heard of unless you're a crazy person like me. Who seeks out his weird blend of horror comedy. But we previous Jim Wynorski episode we did that ties into this show was Vampirella with Pete Townsend, I think, or no, God, who was it? It was someone from The Who as Dracula.
Wow.
What?
I'm looking at this. I'm watching this.
So it's either I cannot remember their names anymore. It's not Keith Moon, I'll tell you that. Roger Daltrey?
Yeah, Roger Daltrey.
He's a very
Dracula.
pretty man. Okay, as Dracula.
And
all right.
Katana from the Mortal Kombat movies as Vampirella. Talisa Soto.
Oh wow! So this is okay.
Mid-90s.
But that's not what y'all are covering.
Movie.
That was Vampirella. Y'all are covering.
That was
Chopping
a previous comic book Wynorski. This is Chopping Mall. This is robots are for some reason contracted to patrol a mall. They immediately turn evil and start killing teenagers.
Yeah, this trailer looks great. I'm watching.
So there's robots. Did you ever hear about the robot, like robot security guard in like Washington D.C. that like on his first day of his job like killed himself by driving into a fountain? He's like, all cops are bad. I'm gonna kill myself. I don't want to be part of this.
Wow,
it's a real Asimov situation.
And that was my company's office in Washington D.C.
Wow.
So I feel very proud of my robot guard who killed himself.
Wow, amazing. Vince, what's going on with you?
Nothing, just hanging out. We had COVID a few weeks ago, but we're recovering well. And then just playing on the Steam Deck, I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey right now, which is the ancient Greece one, and I'm having a blast with it. It's just Assassin's Creed Witcher, but I like it more.
Yeah, if Witcher had good combat instead of Witcher combat.
Yeah.
Amazing. I do have my new computer. It is here.
Yay!
It is set up. I think the Bluetooth is not working on it, and I don't actually have any headphones that I can plug into it, and I don't have any speakers for it yet. So I have no way of getting sound out of this device right now. So that's the big issue right now, which is easy enough to fix. I just have to get that going. But I've completely rearranged my entire everything to like redo my setup and get ready for streaming again. But I just need sound, so we're gonna work on that, and we're gonna get going soon. So I'm excited. We're gonna play some Mario ROM hacks, and we're gonna get back to it.
Nice.
Soon TM. But I think that's all I've got to say. Yeah, I think we're done here. Cool. Vince, I love you.
Love you too, bud.
Chris, I love you.
Kia, Vince, where did you go?
Jesus.
Oh, that means he loves us, and his greatest fear is that he's going to lose us. Aw. But he'll never hear this. Aw.
He'll never know. They'll never
Guys, the podcast is still going. Where did you go?
Damn. And listener, we love you as well. We hope Chris can hear us by the time the next episode comes around. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining us. Bye.